Alright, this is Roger, Mud Fossil University. If you know anything about mud fossils, you know I say there is a vein and an artery running through rocks. Now, that's cut, so you just see the inside, you see a little leaking around them. Now, when they come to the edge, like this, and they pour out of there, you get that effect. And that right there, if you can see real close, you see that little circle right there? That's the vein or artery. I guess that's I think that's the artery side, but I can tell you in a second. And you see how it's hexagonal? That's what happens with blood. It turns into hexes. I believe this is the vein side over here. And that doesn't leak the way the artery side does. They make a nice pattern like that. Now, we're going to see another one right here. There's no pattern to it to speak of other than it is that exact same circle that I just showed you a second ago, and the same sort of texture, the red and the black and all that sort of stuff, and the yellow, because that's what happens with blood. It goes from red to brownish to yellow, or yellow to brownish to black. Now, what do we see here? All right, this is a by Mark Stevens. Well, I'll tell you in a minute. Let's look at it. You see that little stalk-looking thing coming down, and then that circle. You see all these little black stripes coming down here. What is that all about? You see it? You see that one real serious black one coming down there, and they just look like somebody just took a magic marker and ran it down there. Well, those are drips, just like you painted up there with something, like black paint. So let's take a look at what we are looking at here. All right. Now, train your eye on that exact curve. Do you see that? That is exactly where the artery, well, actually, I'm sorry, this is not an artery. I believe this is a tendon in placement, and that right there is the stalk that runs up to it, and there is some stuff, you know, that's a very, very tough emplacement. You see these little flaky looking things? That is the way these are built. They're built with, it's an investment to hold that strap, and it will pull on something. Now, all of this stuff is flesh. This was in flesh somewhere, in the movable parts of your flesh, where things are stretched, and that will come back when flesh it was alive and reactive. The ball is the socket that holds it into the clay. Really, it's clay. And holds it in the clay, and that strap moves, and then the clay comes back together. And they call it ball clay. Seriously. And this is on the side of El Capitan. He says, here I zoomed in to no particular place on the rock face of El Capitan. Just to get a focus on things. Now, I would like to see where exactly it was, because I understand this intimately. This was a living rock face. That was the structure of a strap. That ball right there. And that strap leading out. And guess where else it's found? Alright, remember that round ball. And you remember that stalk. You can't miss it. It's going right into that ball. It's the thing that ball is connected to. And it goes underneath, and it attaches somewhere up in there and locks this ball in place if this stuff was gooey and fleshy and moved, which it did. Now, I'm going to show you where else it is. Alright, this is the interstitium. These are the balls, and they're in there, and they attach to these little straps. And the whole thing can come out this way and come back, this way and come back, every different which way. Now, and they just really starting to look into this. And there's some right there. This is in the layers of skin, of tissue, just where it meets up with the skin. And this is what it looks like in they call it areolar tissue. It's the fleshy tissue just below the skin. And they're collagen bundles, which are those straps, and then the balls are in there. And those are those little tendon balls, or little strappy balls that are in the clay of flesh after these straps erode. And they call them the Mars blueberries. And they are a product of the Mars interstitium layer, which is on the layer of Mars. That's how it's here. That is interstitium. These are the balls. These are the straps. This is an area where the skin is pulled apart and it will return. This is an area where the skin is gathered and it will open up. This is a product of a fabric. It's absolutely fascinating. And the balls are the things that are the strongest, and they will remain when the straps erode. On Mars, which this is on Mars, they call it the Mars Morse code. On Mars, the abrasion rate is extremely light. As you can see, it's almost like sandblasted or something. Extremely elegant pattern. And you understand, as I said, this is an expanded area, and it will come back. So that's Mars. God bless you all.